today we're going to talk about, we run at the RSC, we run a series of courses online. We run these courses using Blackboard Collaborate for webinars. We use Moodle for the courses and course content. And when we go to recently when we go to add accreditation for the courses, we're using open badges. But the first place we came to issue open badges was WordPress. WordPress has a plugin that allows you to issue open badges. And just recently we've updated Moodle, we've upgraded to Moodle 2.5 and we'll probably move to 6. I'm trying to keep ahead with it. So we've moved to 2.5. And what we're going to do in that is we're looking at can we use Moodle to issue open badges and make that process a little bit easier for us when it comes to issue the badges at the end of the course, because at the minute, you've got the Moodle system and then all of a sudden you're having to go into WordPress and there's an admin process there where you're keeping track of the user emails and the user accounts, bringing them into the WordPress system and issuing the badges through that. So what we're going to do is just kind of talk a little bit about the practicality of badges within Moodle, and it might be quite interesting, especially since nobody's using them at the minute. Moodle with open badges, it works as two levels of badges. It has site-wide badges and course badges. Now, what they have done is they have the badges that are kind of incentives and trying to get people in to just use in the system. So with a site-wide badge, some of the criteria you can add to a badge is if someone has updated the user profile, so trying to get users engaging more. So there's a bit there about engagement. But then with site-wide badges, something else you might be able to do is to add to award a badge that allows you to give credit to somebody who's completed a series of courses rather than just one course. Whereas if you set completion criteria within a course, then the problem comes that the badge is only about that course. So they're trying to kind of link up the different courses. So to use badges within Moodle, in the site administration, you can't see it in this. And in the site administration, there is a badges option. You've got to manage the badge settings, so it's pretty straightforward. And Gloria and Julia touched on who is the badge issuer. So you have to fill in these details and put it with the organisation initially about who's issuing these badges to add some sort of credit to them. So the other thing you can do is you can enable badges to connect to the Mozilla Open Badge Packs. And you can enable course badges, and that's key to using open badges within courses and allowing tutors, because if you don't tick that box, the tutors will not be able to add badges from within their courses. So when it comes to managing the badges, you'll see that there's some badges in here. And it's the site-wide level that will list the badges within the Moodle site. And if you're doing it from the site administration, essentially what you're doing is you're adding a site-wide badge. So if I'm in here and I want to create a badge, site-wide, I'll call it the Now in here, you're asked to add a description for the badge. The description, as Julie said, is a little piece of information telling people what that badge is awarded and why, the reason behind the badge. So it's given me the image file. And the issue of detail, again, coming back to some of the information that's been said before, is you can change the issue, but this is to do with the institutional policy or the policy of the site. You can change who's issuing each badge. So you can fill that data in to reflect professor or reflect, you know, basically the model, so whether it's a person or whether it's an institution. But what it does is it's pulling the data from your settings that I just showed you 2 minutes ago, it's pulling that data in, and you can create a badge from that. Badges can't expire, so if you get a badge where someone's getting credit for a skill that needs to be regularly updated, you can set an expiration date on the badge. And what happens if a user still has that in their badge pack, still has it on the Moodle sort of backpack, what will happen is a big expired sign will just appear across the badge. It's handy for keeping on top of skills that need to be updated. Badge. So immediately, once you've created the badge, so here's some options. Immediately when you've created the badge, you're given the option to set the criteria for the badge. So you can set it for, you can set it for it to be manually issued, so it could be a badge that sits within the system. It could be a badge that sits within the system and someone comes in and then awards the badge to a student in the system. Now here is some of the things that I've come across when using this within Moodle. If you set site-wide badges, only administrators can give those badges out. This seems to be a problem I've come across at the minute. You set it site-wide, you need to create a specific role that allows a tutor or a teacher to then award the badge from that site-wide level. So that's one thing to look out for if you're going to start using your badges at a site-wide level. Remember, you'll need to create a specific role that will allow people to issue them. So what else is complete a set of courses. So if I'm given criteria such as completing a set of courses, it's asking me which courses they need to complete. So I can choose the assessment course, and then I can add more courses. I will not do that because it will turn out that everybody who's completed that course will get a badge. So you're seeing that you're automatically in the criteria there. The other options you'll get are to just change the email text. When someone is awarded a badge, they receive an email providing them information that they've been awarded the badge. They can more or less see that they've been awarded, although the email provides some basic information. And finally, when creating a badge, you can see who has been awarded that badge. Once you have, what I'll do is I'll sort of dip into a course. So here's a course where I've just been testing the badges. So you'll see within a course, I can see the badges that are available on that course, and students can see that too. They can see the badges that are available on the course. And if I wanted to create a badge, it's in the course administration this time, and it's badges, add a new badge. Now, the key over that is that any tutor who's enrolled in that course at tutor level or teacher level can award the badges. So we'll call this one the one that you've seen earlier. Now when it comes to the criteria for this, what I'm going to do is I'll show you the actual. So I can say activity completion, and this badge will be awarded. There is only one activity that asks the user if they have an awesome beard or not. So this, when a user completes that activity, they will automatically be awarded the badges. Now that's where the big win for us is. If we're running our courses using Moodle, the win is that if we set up these badges for automatic completion tracking, that's something I should cover. You will need to enable completion tracking to use this method within the courses. So completion tracking just tracks what each user is doing and how they're going through the course. But so the win for us here is that automatically when people complete a certain area or a certain piece of the course or the whole course, they will be awarded a badge based on the criteria. So we're not having to get into the WordPress system, we're not having to bring in details and emails, send out emails from that system. So for us it seems that would be an easy choice. Save that. So I've created my badge, and the last step, so I'm going to be backtracking and showing you course badges and sideway badges, but the last step is to enable access to the badge. You've created the badge, but nobody can earn it until you enable the access. But what is important is the minute you enable that access, that badge is now locked. That is it. That is the criteria for that badge. That is the name of that badge. That's the description that goes with that badge. It cannot be changed. So you see now that I can't change that badge. And if I go in, manage badges, I can see these settings in here, and I can see the badge. So, as I said, the win for us is that badge is automatically given to anybody who's in the course. Where it seems to be falling down, and this is something that I need to make very people aware of, is that where it seems to be falling down is that when you add the criteria is that you have completed this activity, the choice activity, and the data in there isn't great for somebody who does not understand what that choice activity is. So if you're using them to give credit to students for certain activities or certain steps through the course, anybody who looks at it other than the students or people involved in the course may not fully understand what is involved for that badge to be awarded. So you see here, if I click this badge, this is one that I earned. I know who issued it, I know what course it was for, and this is one that I set up where it was just awarded, and it was just awarded manually. And what happens is the badge is awarded by the teacher. There's not a whole lot of data in there. It was issued for completing, so we don't have any tracking on the evidence either. That's something that I'd like to see more of, is more tracking of the evidence as well. You know, little nuggets of content that the users have created. I'd love to see more of that you can get access to. So to quickly sort of compare that then to the badges that we're able to issue through WordPress, is that we click the criteria. So that's a small example of some of the criteria that we've attached, or attached to some of the badges that we issue through WordPress. And then already you can see that it links back to this content, and you get more in-depth information as to what exactly was required of me to earn that badge. So that's where we're sitting at the minute. Do we sit with the admin task of issuing these badges through WordPress, or do we do we go with the Moodle option and have them issued that could be automatically? And you are checking that, so you can set criteria. You know, an activity is complete when such a score is met. So an activity is complete when such a score is met, and then you can say that the badge is issued when that activity is complete. So the marks are there, but then tracking it back and for the user to then have those badges and have them make sense within the badge pack is, for me, becomes quite difficult. I would hope to see if you could add more criteria in. There's a few things I'd just like to highlight before, just to kind of wrap up and just say, if you're using badges within Moodle, remember the criteria is quite limited. If you want to, and I've tried this, to add more information into the description field, if you want to add information into the description field, it doesn't have rich text formatting, so that's difficult. Site-wide badges, if you're going to use site-wide badges, you need to create a specific role, so just be aware of that. And the other thing is that the ownership belongs to the student once the badge is really issued. This is what I've become aware of, and maybe if I'm wrong in this one, can you correct me, but the badge seems to be, the ownership of the badge comes to the student. So you've seen me create a badge, you've seen me enable a badge, and I've said that's it, locked. If you go and delete that badge, the users still have the badge, they still have access to the criteria, it still sits there, but you just can't issue it anymore from that unit. So know that deleting a badge won't take it away from all the users, it will just remove it from your view. And then when users are viewing their badges, and if you go into a profile, I don't know if this will happen, if you go into a profile, it will show you the badges and it will show you them connected to the backpack. So be aware, another weird badge. So be aware that when it comes down to the ownership is on the student for their badges and they have control of those. So hopefully that's going to give you insight to how this is. Any questions?